Hello, hello, hello. What's up, wonderfuls? I'm so happy to see you today. It's Michelle here at Angel Insight. I got all kinds of patterns going on. That's all right, right? It is a little chilly here. We've been having the up and down weather outside Chicagoland. I'm sure you're experiencing the same. And I know I was sharing about a month or two ago that it's going to be a kind of crazy weather this year. So, inside and out. So, tonight I'm going live to share with you a beautiful mandala that I made here of azurite and gladiola. Take this in. All right. I'm going to share a couple messages. And really, today we're just going to chat. This is more of informational. It won't be long. But, I'm being guided to come forward finally after so many years working with spirit. I'm finally understanding what I'm here to do. So I hope that your angels and guides brought you into this, and I'm sure they brought you here so that you can hear this, because we are at a pivotal. There we go. Pivotal time, in our evolution of humanity, really. And so let's just go ahead and start with what I call a show and tell. So, yesterday, actually, I went in to get messages, as I often do, but I received messages, and this one was guided to share today. And it's called a show and tell. So, for those of you that are new to me, when I get a show and tell, I go within, and there are knowings, there are feelings, there are words, there are images, all kinds of things. Okay. So, this is what came through. I heard what's coming into vision is all that affects the crown, especially when it's upside down. And I could feel the cap of my skull like tingling. Okay. Energy, I could feel energy. I could feel what I was feeling was like a droopy dog over my left eye. Okay. If you know who Droopy Dog is, shout out. And I was also feeling tightness around my throat. And then I heard, all is not as it seems. What is the quality of your dreams? I was getting a knot in the third eye. That was a knowing. And it was like it was being unwrapped. So I want you to think of the boy, and then this is the visual that came into my mind's eye. There is a kid's book, and it's this boy with the purple crayon. But instead of a purple crayon, the boy was holding purple yarn. And as he was walking, he was untangling the yarn. And as the yarn was going, he's taking the yarn, and then he would stop, and then I would see some beetles. And then I would shift we go along on the journey, and I would shift, and I could see some locusts. Then the neck became very tender, and I heard, you must surrender. And then I heard a demon say, what is yours is mine. I could see what I've seen many times. It was on the Egyptian timeline. I could see this side by side, a ceremony. What is man shifts into something bigger, and it's an overlay. And I started to see flies, and then some ants. Okay. And as we're continuing with the yarn, spiders. I could feel an intense sacral third eye. So around my hips, right? Right here, my third eye, and across my heart activation. And I heard, it's extermination time. Okay, so who's the exterminator, you might wonder? Well, that's what I found out. Yours truly. I have learned that there are bugs, if you will. I want you to think of these bugs, and I'm hoping that these all translate. Okay, these bugs are artificial, and they are very much like a virus on a computer. So, on a computer, when you have a bug, it causes the computer to not run properly. And this is exactly the information that's coming in. But what's really cool is all these years have led up to these moments, and I am shouting from the rafters that, that it's time for me to assist. It's time for me to step in and do session work and help clear these bugs because all they're going to do is fog your vision, okay? For real. So, and it's going to be a little overwhelming, right? And so I was also getting, okay, goes with the message number 10. Oh, hold on, let me go back here. There's another message that wants to come through. And this is how my team speaks to me, messages all over the place. And that's because, in a lot of ways, because I've been given this medicine, in a lot of ways, I'm tracked just like you are. That's how these bugs work. Okay. So, you know, there's this kind of tracking system. And I know this might sound crazy. So go within and just see if you align with this. Of course, I'm not, and this, I've asked Spirit, is this just visuals, for us to understand? And in some ways it is, but at the same point in time, it really does make sense because these are artificial energies that are lowering our vibration, okay? And this is how man fell from the higher heart into the solar plexus. And that changed the experiences for those who were affected, okay? Which is all of us, in some way, shape, or form, right? Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm looking for the 31st, excuse me. And so as what we're going to talk about today is, and what I just shared with you, is really how we get back so that we can, actually, it's not about how we get back. Today is all about sharing azurite and gladiola as an attunement, as a tuning session. You can schedule a tuning session with me. It can start with a consultation. But basically, those of you who have not risen into the higher heart yet, okay, because this is a collective challenge available to all of us, we can assist you with this attunement for that masculine to rise into the higher heart. And I'm going to talk about this mandala in just a moment because it shows the pathway next. It shows, the steps that are involved into eliminating these energies that are being tracked, that are actually were being tracked and are still being tracked. But it's because all we need to do now is clear them. We're in evolutionary time where we can actually clear these patterns. It's awesome. It really is. Okay. And so you're going to see me sharing lots of things. And I just want you to ask within, is this for me? Okay. So I'm trusting my guidance. It is actually kind of a struggle to be ahead of your time, to kind of talk about things that a lot of people don't. I'm not going to say don't understand because I know you understand. Okay. So let's go ahead and share this message. Now, this message, the blueprint of this message is all about the alchemy. So what is the alchemy at hand? And if you'll notice, the mandala is surrounded in gold. The alchemy at hand this is about an ending. Okay. It's time for you to discover and uncover the truth. And I was getting that this is about an ending, and it's time for that divine masculine to rise from the seat of will, okay, into the higher heart. It's time that we free our sun, okay, our inner sun, literally, so that our inner sun can rise up into the higher heart so that the vibration can shift. Okay. So we've got this mandala that I'm going to share with you. But what we want to see and what we want to do and what can assist you to rise is this attunement. We can set up a session, we activate this combination. And what this does is it helps your divine masculine to actually finish that rise into the higher heart so that you can step on the new pathways. And the new pathways, there's 6 steps involved, okay? And will they all be for you? Well, it depends. I shared all the different bugs, right? All the things that are keeping us amiss. And they're shared here in this mandala in a lot of ways. Okay, this is representative of I just want to kind of put it up here so that you can really see it. Take a moment. Take a moment to really look at this mandala. This mandala is inspired by azurite and gladiola. Specifically, we're talking about native Cape gladiola and azurite from the Western African area. So these are actually in proximity to each other, and this is how this medicine works, and this is what Spirit has been teaching me for years. Okay, and it's time to really unleash this medicine to help us to move forward, because there is a time coming where things are going to get even more challenging. And so this is a gift, actually, to find this. It really is a gift. So those of you who have found this, please look at this as a blessing. It's time to rise the divine masculine into the higher heart such that we can take the right steps moving forward. And what do those steps do? They pull abundance. Look at this is the sign, and this is the African. Okay, this is the Aldrinka cloth symbols that I was guided to use in this mandala, and this is what we're bringing in: abundance, abundance, my friends. And we're bringing that in, we're pulling it to us, and rather than pushing. So this is where I want you to just take a moment, and I just want us to spend a moment together to learn the difference between will. Think about the word will. It means I will do whatever it takes to make it happen. If you want me to put a square peg in this round hole, I am going to figure out a way. I will figure this out. When we rise into the higher heart, not only is there a huge frequency jump, okay, which changes the experience as we pull to us, but there's also a huge shift in everything, okay? So I just want you to kind of hang here for just a moment. Another part of this message, I was asking for more information to kind of connect the dots, to really come forward and share this with you. And a couple more things came through. Peas porridge hot, peas porridge cold, peas porridge in a pot, 9 days old. Do you feel like you're picking at the scraps? Do you feel like you're making things last longer? This could be financially, mentally, spiritually, okay? But what is so interesting is if you look up this particular little phrasing, right? I was led to number 19631. And that's what my spirit was, since this is how spirit speaks to me, guys, is that I was getting an alignment with the numbers in between the ones, 963. And 963 hertz is the vibration of the crown. It is called the frequency of the God's note. It is all about your divine connection. And so, in a lot of ways, what we're experiencing, the reason that we can't really expand on our vision, or even if you think you have vision, it may not even be, tangible. It may not feel 100% clear because we have so much swarming around us. We have these portals that are closing, which are leaving these bugs to kind of swarm around us to cause a lot of clouding. Now, for some of us, it's not a big deal. But for some who have always resided on their site, right? It's changing things. It's changing things, and it's making things uncomfortable. But this attunement and doing a tuning session, when you attune to this azurite crystal and gladiola plant, you attune to the frequency, God's note, with the energy that's coming into your system and the energy that's leaving. That's what this attunement does. And we're going to take the steps in just a moment. So we're talking about, that expansion on the crown, really getting that connection, okay? And this is the frequency when the divine masculine rises into that higher heart. This is the frequency that you align with. And it's a higher frequency than the will, okay? And at the same point in time, there's another energy here, okay? There's the SIRE-IN energy, okay? And this is what was introduced. There is, another energy. And, here we go. Let's talk about this. Jack and Jill go up the hill, each with a bucket of water. Jack fell down. He broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. This is another rhyme about what we're talking about, and it's time to heal that crown, that connection with the divine. It's time to heal these bugs are artificial energy, guys. And why is this so hard for me to communicate with you? Is because these are from the future, but they create a quantum effect on our energetic makeup. Okay. And so when you work with the powers of the all, many have a connection with God, many have a connection with the earth. But when you embrace the animals, the crystals, the plants, the earth, the angels, your guides, your ancestors, God, I call Yahweh. Okay. Do you see yourself, your spiritual family is much more than just us? Is much more than just us. And we are at a time where we need everyone to step into their brilliance. And this is mine. And I'm just going to hold on to it. And I know it doesn't make sense to some. And so I'm sharing. And those who align, thank goodness, because it is a gift to you. Because it is a gift to you that you can actually finally break from this cycle, because it has impacted us for far too damn long. All right? The rise of the inner sun dramatically affects what and how you manifest. Literally. Okay? 1800 on the clock. Spirit bringing in one with abundance. That's what that time just said to me. Most people who are going to identify with what I'm sharing here, because really I'm talking about these bugs. This is what Spirit is telling me what mental illness really is. I'm being taught how to actually help people who have what we call mental illness. And why is this so near and dear to my heart? Because I have a lot of experience here. And so those who suffer with depression are going to resonate with this the most. You're feeling exhausted all the time, and it's because you're constantly and consistently forced to push. And in fact, as a collective, we believe no pain, no gain. Work before you rest. Work before you play, right? All these things. We believe in the push. But for all of us, it doesn't really align, and it makes us, it further pushes us down. And so what I'm trying to say is there's this energy, right? And it's like we're just spinning on a wheel and we're not really moving. And those of you that found this are smart enough to know that this is not a good use of your energy. And frankly, we don't have to deal with it anymore. Okay, so let's stop. Let's stop, you know, falling for this big O game that is, been impressed upon us. This is not something we chose. This is something that was impressed upon us by those who don't want to see humanity succeed, right? And we're not going down. Heck no, we're not going down. But let's make your experience better. This mandala is so beautiful and it really shows a lot. I was encouraged to do 6. This is about aligning to gratitude. Okay, and what are we grateful for? In the center here, we're grateful, and we start with I have to read it sideways, sorry. Encouragement. And so, as we're in this house of the will, as we feel the crosses that we bear, as we feel that we're stuck in the center and not really knowing where to go, right? This attunement lets us break free and encourages us. It encourages us to take that first step to rise. As we go on to the pink, we're talking about loyalty. Now, these are actually, as I said, Aldrinka cloth tribal, Western African tribal symbols. And these symbols, friends, they were used traditionally to create garments for the king, for royalty during times of ceremony and times of grief. Okay? Because we're not going to step into the grief, but there is a lot here when we actually accept the truth of what I'm trying to share. It's not really a fun acceptance, but we can rise above it. We can be loyal to ourselves, and we can use these 5 portals that are closing, and we can have this unconditional love for ourselves. We can surrender and collaborate with those who can assist us, and that is why your guides brought us here, so that we can be loyal to ourselves and we can shift into the blue, into the deep blue, which is the name of Azurite, actually, deep blue. We shift into the deep blue, the authenticity of ourself, and we step into our own greatness. And look at this. This is a symbol for greatness. And I love that it's 3 rings. And we're talking about moving up 3 chakras from the seat of will in the solar plexus. We go up into from 1, 2, 3. Okay? Into that higher heart. We go up. This next one, this is the tribal symbol for strength. And this is the harmony that we align with. This is how strong we find we are when we rise into that. We realize what we've gone through. And what's so cool is the things that are pulled to you with that increase in the vibration, they're actually sweeter. They actually are so much more than they would have ever been if this had not been the case. You appreciate, you feel more. It's like living magic. And then in the next category here, sorry, I'm like trying to look at all this. Oh, I'm sorry. In the middle, we had the excellence. I'm sorry. So I'm sorry. Excellence. Forgive me. Excellence, loyalty, greatness with the blue. The green is strength, and then encouragement. And then encouragement to reach for the abundance as we see in this turquoise. And the last ring is the gold. This is the alchemy that's available for you, taking the steps. And these represent the steps that I mentioned. As the boy is walking with the purple yarn, right? in order to undo the knot in the eye. The knot in the eye, it's like this storm, and as you walk out of the storm, you detangle that yarn, and it gives you clarity, okay? It gives you that eye back. And so when we're talking about this, when we're talking about the beetles, when I was seeing the beetles and the locusts and all these, they're all attributed to different chakras, okay? They're attributed to different wounding on different timelines. So azurite and gladiola is the first step, is what I'm trying to tell you. You move up into the higher heart. And then once the divine masculine is exactly where he's meant to be, you are able to trust your intuition. You're able to take the right steps so that you can follow, if need be, the steps. If you have any of these bugs, we can clear them for you. So I hope this, I don't know why I feel so strange when I'm on here, but I do. And I think it's just because I'm nervous, but I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. It's time for you to discover and uncover the truth. I love to hear your thoughts here, whatever they are. And I love to know what you think about this attunement and about, and if you are feeling that this is the right place for you, just ask. I mainly talk to people who are spiritually awakened, okay? Just put yourself in a body pendulum. If you don't know what that is, stand up and say, body, spirit, show me a yes, and see where your body goes. Show me a no. Show me a maybe. And simply ask, do I need azurite and gladiola? Or ask, is my divine masculine risen into my higher heart? Or ask, is this part of my evolution for my divine masculine to rise? Ask the questions that need to be asked, and then drop a comment in the chat that you want to connect. I'm actually going to put a little jot form into the chat. So if you would like to contact me, you definitely can. Just share your email and your phone number, and I will connect with you, and we can set up a session. Just so you know, attunement session is a 2-hour session. It involves the medicine of azurite and gladiola, and it also is a 12-card oracle, especially for you to understand how this attunement, how it refreshes your system. Moving forward, we will also talk about and have a consultation before we even start anything to see, is this even needed? And, if it is, what steps after, might be helpful for you. So for those of you who have found me, especially those of you who do suffer from depression, I want you to think about, I'm not telling you to stop your meds. No, I'm not saying that. But I am asking you to see if this might assist you to see if you're on the right med. You can trust your own knowing better. Trust the steps that you're taking. Okay, that's what the divine masculine does. There's this thing called inspired insight. Okay, we receive, I'm using my left hand. The feminine is mainly on the left and the masculine on the right. Okay? We are made of both. We receive from God, from source, energy, Yahweh. We receive. And then we take action so that we can receive and take action. It's a give and a take. A give and a take. And it's like a game. And what happens along the way is magic. Oh my gosh, I'm totally in the right place at the right time. Oh my gosh, I'm having such a magical experience. Oh my God, I can't believe that these random blessings are finding me. Your life just changes. Are you ready? I'm here for you. And I'm ready for you. I'm going to post that chat form. I can look forward to connecting with you. I am going live with Oracle soon this week. I also have another attunement. It's just a meditation, though. I've shared it on the wall, so check on my wall. I actually have a clearing from these 5 portals that have been opening on Saturday. That's $22. So do something for yourself. Start there. And maybe when we have 30 people in attendance for that, I'm going to raffle off an attunement session. So maybe that's why your guides brought you here, so that you could get this. All right, we'll talk to you soon, my friends. I look forward to connecting. If you're interested in anything I said, drop it in the comments. I'm going to post that link and we'll connect. We shall talk soon.